old goddess to whom this temple is dedicated.
20 rupees each?
20 rupees each.
Yeah. Okay.
18 tickets.
And that's at the special entrance? Yeah.
Yes, this side.
Okay. Get one of those things, an offering, and you be the offering girl for our group. How much?
You want the garland?
No. Okay. Yeah. This side.
We bring an offering. It's a symbol of giving ourselves to God. The broken shell, our willingness to break the ego. The flesh and milk poured out is our inner self presented to God. Or is it many gods? In Hinduism, it's hard to know.
We're really talking about the absolute when we talk about the divine. The absolute is beyond all form. For ordinary human beings, it's very difficult to relate to and worship something that is formless. And so, in a sense, as a concession to the human, the divine takes many, many forms.
We have a lot to learn about Hinduism, and it all starts here in the bustling outer courtyard of the temple. It's a busy place.
No,
Sari.
I was just
Okay,
curious.
okay.
No, it's touching, no, that's sari. That's blessing.
Blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, blessing. I see.
And you would touch your feet if
He's blessing me?
he's blessing you.
Oh.
But sometimes
What?
blessings also turns into grab.
A lot to learn and still learning. We got a little surprise when the golden goddess, usually hidden inside, was paraded through the courtyard for her morning walk.
The temple itself is a little hectic, being pushed around and trying to see the different shrines there, and everybody trying to get their piece of seeing a bit of the action.
I like going to the Hindu temple. It's colorful, it's flowers, clapping and cheering and jumping up and down. And as a kid, it just meant like joining the other pack of kids there and running around, and it's not about sitting still and being quiet and trying not to fidget and pay attention, pay attention.
As it turns out, Hinduism is many things to many people. As much about what it's not as what it is.
It's not an ism, it's a series of ways. It's not a single set of rituals, it's not a single set of beliefs, it's not a single set of practices. It's this riot of traditions that we find here on the Indian subcontinent. It's many, many, many traditions that have evolved over a long, long period of time, and they still keep appearing. It's hard to identify a single belief within Hinduism that we couldn't find a counterexample for. So it's very difficult to say things in general.
It always comes down to your own experience and beliefs.
Despite the fact that it's essentially a tourist attraction, it's still a place of worship and people take their faith seriously here, and it's inspiring in that way.
We're treated to some music from the temple musicians.
I felt inspired by them and wanted to remember their instruments and started to draw their instruments.
Thank you.
Each and every visit is a new way of seeing the world. Each place is a whole new world, each with their own stories and symbols, their own ceremonies that explain how it makes sense to them. And as we gather at the entryway of yet another place to visit, we're starting to feel like explorers, which is exactly what Darrol has in mind when he takes people to India.
Darrol is careful about allowing the experience to be your own, and although he may know 10 things about that tree, he will walk by it and enjoy it as a tree and allow us to enjoy it as a tree. And then if we ask or if he thinks something is pertinent, then he'll offer the information, but it's not because he knows about this and this and this and this and this that he must tell us about it. And so in that way it becomes a journey more our own. He allows that to happen.
Of course, there are always orientation and teaching moments along the way.
This is Anjali Ashram, Christian ashram. Okay? This is something that began to happen in India in the late 1940s and has been going on ever since. Supposed to proceed very quietly. This is a place of silence and spiritual discipline.
Ashrams are an ancient Indian tradition, a place for disciples to be with their guru, to be instructed and practice spiritual discipline. Throughout history, ashrams have been the breeding ground of great movements for social reform, for cultural renaissance, political struggle, and religious renewal. This ashram is part of the Christian monastic tradition here in India. It's dedicated to living authentic Indian spirituality in a multi-religious world.
It says that Friday the 31st is the day of fasting and total silence.
This is a day of total silence in the ashram.
Every Friday is
Every Friday.
fasting, prayer, silence.
Okay. But thank you very much for
This
agreeing to speak
exception,
with us.
you come all the way from Canada.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Feel at home. This is your place. This is God's place. This is everybody's place. Very glad to receive you on this auspicious day, Friday. Friday is an auspicious day for Christians, Muslims, and Hindus as well. On this day,
We're given an introduction to the grounds, where every building and every place has
these
significance.
Oriental countries, the circular stands for perfection, fullness. The mandir is put up in the circular form. You are invited to be one with God. You call God by any name, whatever it is. You may understand in your own way. There is nothing to impose on anybody. One with God, one with one's own self, one with all and the nature. Ecological balance. At the same time, you are invited to be one with all the brothers and sisters. Solidarity with the whole of humanity. So that is the principle of this ashram layout.
We're invited to visit the grounds, to experience their day of contemplation for ourselves. As each of us is alone with our own thoughts, we remember one of the invitations of this place.
To be one with one's own self, your uniqueness, your integrity, your oneness.
That connection with ourselves and what we believe is the starting place for where this journey is taking us. To be open enough to engage with what is not ourselves, what's unfamiliar, different. It's something that's always seemed natural to Darrol.
My response has tended always to be in relation to the other, to be curious, to be wondering who this person is and what they're all about. I think the more typical response is a certain element of fear, of anxiety, uncertainty, because this is unknown.
Through these trips to India, Darrol models his beliefs, but in his own humble way, he's making a proposition to our modern world that dialogue holds the promise for a different future. Talking instead of picking up guns. Dialogue instead of suspicion. It's deceptively simple.
I really feel that there's something miraculous about dialogue, this kind of exchange between people that opens up each to the other. And this happens in terms of communities. This happens across religions. And it's really, really crucial that we find a way to overcome that anxiety and enter into the life of the other, whether it's another religion, another culture, another human being. And dialogue to me is the way we can do that.
We're headed south for the city of Madurai. This is a city whose history dates back more than 2,000 years. It's an important center for learning and pilgrimage. Madurai is also home to some of India's oldest and most incredible Hindu temples, with their exquisite sculptures and pantheon of figures. The ornate pillars and spectacularly painted ceilings and walls. Our visit to the Meenakshi Temple is an experience many of us will not soon forget.
I think about my own first encounters with living Hinduism when I came to India. I had read Houston Smith, I'd read many, many books about Hinduism, but that's one thing, and then to actually enter the temple, that was another thing. Given my Protestant background, when I entered the temple, I thought, oh my God. I thought, this is just idolatry. All of these images, you see these half-dressed men. It's fairly dark. I had to ask myself, am I right in seeing this as I'm seeing this? And realizing that that was me, that was my projection onto this, given my heritage, my background. And I had to try to put myself in the moccasins of those people who were practicing this tradition and ask, how do they see these images? How do they understand their actions? Then you begin to see they understand these images in ways very different from my preconceptions. When you begin to make that transition, you begin to move more accurately and more deeply.
I would recommend to most people that they come to India, but not to everybody, because you have to be really laid back about it, and not everybody that I know can do that, so I wouldn't tell everybody to come here. But there's a lot for everybody to see and do here, and a lot to be learned.
The temple was a good place to collect our thoughts about the trip that was soon coming to a close.
I can see myself being permanently changed by this trip.
At first I was shocked or overwhelmed, but just go with it, just keep going and don't get caught up on the differences. Willing to listen at the very least, and hopefully willing to learn. I guess the very fact that we're here and we're sitting and listening to people speak about different beliefs and philosophies with hopefully open minds, that probably does say a lot. We went to some Christian ashrams, went to a Catholic Mass last night. We've seen the Tibetan Buddhists, the Sikhs, the Jains. The men, we went one morning to a mosque. The Virashivites. Any one of those would take a lifetime to really fully understand. We've barely scratched the surface.
But before we head back home, Darrol has one more short stop.
I try to bring my students here to the Gandhi Museum because he is a figure of such importance in our time, and especially for the emerging dialogue between people of different faiths. Gandhi once said, "If you want to know about my religion, look at what I do." And what he did in his ashram was chart a way towards the future that incorporated all faiths into the whole of humanity.
These are grand aspirations, and they'll stay with us as we head back into the city to say goodbye. Darrol's prepared a get-together on a rooftop overlooking Madurai.
Over the time that we've been together, we've seen a lot of different things. We've covered a lot of ground. We've been in many different religious communities. It's important to think a little bit about where we've been and the impact that this has had on us. And that's to be expected because the journey we've taken has its outer front and it has a very specific interior front that's absolutely unique in each one of you, where the outward aspects of the journey have prompted an inward journey as well, an exploration of trying to sort out who we are in the context of this multi-religious world. So, here we are. Thank you all so much for your many, many, many contributions, but mostly for being who you are, each of you, and you bring each of you your own unique things to this journey. So it's really been an honor for me to be with you, not only your guide, but with you, and to get to know you a little better, and to have this time together in this very, very special country. You know.
We're heading home to continue the journey there, opening a way forward to do things and be people we never would have imagined possible.